Well, here's some good news for businesses that have taken a knock as a result of COVID-19. If you have business interruption insurance, you will now be covered by the infectious disease clause in your policy. But for more of this, I'm joined by Ryan Woolley, the CEO of Insurance Claims Africa, for reaction on this. Mr. Woolley, thank you so much for your time. This clearly is a victory, particularly because I understand it's been sort of like a fight ongoing for a while now. What does this judgment particularly mean?
Well, we're very pleased with the victory. It's another win. This sets precedent for all our clients. We're representing about 800 clients in the hospitality and tourism industry. And this now says that their policy clearly covers what we've been saying all along, the outbreak of COVID and the impact on their business.
Yeah. In terms of the respondents, I mean, why would they not pay out? Why would they not assist businesses, particularly during a pandemic, during this time whereby, like you say, in the hospitality industry did need this assistance from the insurer for this year?
The insurers came up with several excuses. They said that their policy wording didn't cover pandemics, that it was an unforeseen event. The judgment that came down from Judge Kachala and the bench at the Supreme Court was categoric. It said they don't buy that concept. The insurers have some of the best research facilities in the world. So from that perspective, the fact that the lockdown losses were not claimable, they blamed the government for the lockdown losses and said it was a separate cause. But for all these disingenuous arguments, the Supreme Court of Appeal cut through all of them and has now ordered them to pay the claim and our costs.
Yeah, and this journey, according to reports, has cost the hospitality industry millions. They've been already negatively impacted by COVID-19, but now even the lack of payouts also affected them. Just describe to me some of the impact this has had on your clients.
It's extreme hardship. You talk millions, it's billions, and the reality is that these businesses have had to survive. Some of them haven't. And they also, most of these hospitality businesses look after large communities, and they've had to go the route of putting them on UIF, putting them on, government-funded schemes, and essentially they've had to decimate their savings. These businesses will not survive another 6 months if they just don't receive a settlement from insurers.
Yeah.
And the insurers continue to hold out. Even since we've had this win, the messaging that's coming back from the insurers is, we're going to take you further, we're going to take you on, we're going to make you go all the way. And, the reality is, how long can their brand survive? How long should the regulator, the FSCA, who have been exceptional in this fight, stand by and just watch and allow these insurers to bully their policyholders?
So are you saying that according to some of these insurances, they're saying the fight is not over even post this judgment? They're still willing to appeal?
They're still coming up with disingenuous arguments. If we look at Santam said this cafe comedian case and theirs were so similar that they wanted the matters heard together. They're now saying that they still want to pursue their appeal for their High Court judgment because they believe that that they'll get a different response from the SCA. Well, this judgment mentioned the Mar Africa case, it mentioned the Interfax case against Santam and Old Mutual, respectively. And the judgment said they were fortified by those decisions of the High Court full benches. So I think that they're going to try their luck, and I don't know how much longer these insurers are going to believe what their lawyers are telling them, because they've now lost, they've had 8 judges in the High Court tell them that they must pay these claims, and they've had a further 5 judges from a full bench at the SCA telling them to pay these claims. I don't think they're going to get a different response.
Yeah. Well, what does this victory, at least, for now mean? Not only for the moment in terms of, the judgment being handed over, that businesses can be paid out, but for future, in as far as, hospitality businesses being affected by pandemics, as long as you have that infectious disease policy and pandemic, or rather that policy that protects you, that you should be paid out, should you be met by, a pandemic such as COVID-19?
Well, I think the market's changed. I think that they've realized that their wording covered these sort of pandemics, and they want to now restrict their wording. So they've now removed that cover from their policies, which is their prerogative and their right. I'm sure that the pandemic cover will come back in time with one of the insurers willing to sell that cover, who have priced it right and are willing to honor the claims when they happen. So, yes, there might be a change to the industry, but at the same time, these clients have had valid policies that these insurers have now refused to pay for over 8 months, 10 months. And no business can survive without the partners, funding.
Yeah, well, we'll leave it at that. But thank you so much for talking to us, Ryan Woolley.